Lunchtime Live, the show that allows you a unique access to the music, story, and words of the area's most phenomenal local artists and bands. I'm your host, Misha Sisikin. What are we waiting for? Let's get started.
All right, this is Lunchtime Live, coming to you from the campus of Cal State San Bernardino. For the next hour, we're going to be joined with one of the area's most phenomenal artists. Today, we're being joined by Derrick Sanderlin from Riverside. Without further ado, here's your host, Misha Sisikin.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt. We're glad to have you sitting in that engineering seat. We miss Lacey, but we're so glad to have Matt here. All right, this is Lunchtime Live, and we are pleased to have Derrick Sanderlin here in the studio today. How are you, Derrick? Good. I'm doing fine, thank you. So, you come from Riverside?
Yeah, I come from Riverside, but I was born in a little town called Phelan, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the outskirts of Victorville,
yeah.
The middle of nowhere.
I didn't know if you'd get, I didn't want to use middle of nowhere, but even though it is.
Everyone knows out there.
Yeah. All right. So let's get right into it. So, you solo artist, or do you have musicians you work with, or how's this work?
Right now I'm a solo artist.
Okay.
In my next album that I'm going to be recording soon, I'd like to work with some more musicians, mostly backup, like cello or ambient guitar, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe some backup vocals as well, but
yeah.
We'll see what happens in the future.
Very nice. Yeah, no, I mean, for being a solo artist and what you gave us, I mean, that's pretty good. We'll get into that shortly, but because this is to show you off here. So, okay, so you're writing the songs, you're coming up with the music. Are you recording everything as well?
I'm not recording everything as well. I used to, but I have more friends now that are much more professional at what they do than I am, and they've been generous enough to help me out. The last album, the tracks that you'll hear broadcasting are actually recorded for free and things like that.
Oh, so, okay, right on.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, how long have you been playing? How long have you been involved in music?
Well, I started in freshman year of high school about 6 years ago.
Okay.
I started out in a metal band.
All right.
And eventually I picked up the guitar and the drums and the bass within that period of time. Towards the end of high school, our band broke up, and I continued to play the guitar. I really got interested in acoustic guitar, and for the past 2 years I've been writing on my own and somewhat collaborating with other people, but mostly writing on my own.
What would your sound be like? I mean, would you just call it alternative, or would you call it more folk? I mean, what kind of label would you put on it?
I agree that it's very hard to label the style of music. I would have to say that it's somewhere in there as like experimental acoustic or something like that.
All right.
A lot of people have said jazz folk fusion or jazz folk indie. I'm not really 100% on the style that I'm willing to stick to, so we'll see what happens in the future. There's tons of different inspirations I've been taking in, so you'll probably see that in the next coming up albums.
Oh, that'll be good. Okay, so you said in high school you started in a metal band, and then did you start doing the acoustic stuff right away once that ended and you were doing the guitar? Is that what you mainly stuck with, or? Yeah,
I've been playing on worship teams and youth bands and different things like that, but I've been mostly playing the guitar and just me and my guitar sitting up there, and I don't know, there's just something about it, something about being able to sit in my room and play my music and close my eyes and nobody else has to be around. At the same time, I can do the same thing on stage and feel totally alive. So it's a great passion, and I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what are some of your influences, or? artists, people, or artists are people, things, styles of music.
Yeah. I'd have to say my music inspiration comes a lot from jazz. Aaron Goldberg, Nels Cline. He's actually the lead guitarist of Wilco. I'm not sure if anybody's ever heard of that band, but
They have now.
they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And he does a number of different projects, but he's mostly a jazz musician, and I really enjoy improvisational jazz. Love poetry. Enjoy Emily Dickinson and E. Cummings. Different types of spoken word poets out there that have been like fairly new and underground and things like that. And I really, really enjoy classical music and obscure classical music at that. Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, people who have theories on sound and different things like that. I like creating something out of nothing. So those are the kinds of things I'm interested in listening to. Yeah,
very nice. Well, I think with that, let's since we're talking about your music and everything, let's get going with our first track called Drapes. We'll have a listen to it, and then we'll get some story behind it. But this is Drapes by Derrick Sanderlin, here on Lunchtime Live.
Over the situation we've created in our heads, and it's branching out like tango.
All right, that was very nice. That was Drapes by Derrick Sanderlin here on Lunchtime Live, and we are getting to know him quite well. Or if not, we will by the end of the show. You having a good time so far?
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, that was nice. We were commenting your voice. I mean, it's what you can do with it. It's phenomenal. I mean, honestly, it's a good compliment with the guitar, and it's simple, but you do so much with two instruments, a guitar and your voice. So that's great.
Thank you very much.
Now, I mean, is that a song you wrote years ago, or is that a recent one? Is there a story behind it?
Yeah, I wrote it probably a couple of years ago, and it was based off of a recent divorce that my parents went through.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of a weird ongoing thing that's extremely dramatic and all that, but it was just based on that and kind of my loss in faith with God for a second there, and having to reconnect with Him on a different level, a personal level.
Yeah. And
I guess that pretty much sums it up. I mean, if you listen to most of the lyrics, it's very teen angst and very angry with everyone, and there's a lot of resolve at the end, and there's a lot of resolve in my life right now as I speak. So
very good. Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, seems like able to draw more from sadness and pain.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a very powerful, inspiring tool.
Yeah,
I don't like using the word tool on that, but it's inspiring.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. Anyway, so we know you got your stuff recorded. You go out there and do you do some live shows as well?
Absolutely. And I've only been doing live shows since about last year on my own. I started out doing local shows and different things like that. I've played out in Hollywood as well, at the Viper Room and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to just come and really center in on benefit concerts and different things like that.
Oh, right.
And artists' meetings and places where it can just really be, just more appreciated and not just like a weird background thing. The Hollywood world is a very vicious world.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And so it's tough. And I think I just needed to back out for a little bit. And I've been doing local shows in Riverside and house shows and different things like that. So
Yeah.
Soon to be coming up, tons of different stuff. Music festivals that they've just started in Riverside for Memorial Day weekend and different things like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see all the different places I'm able to play in the future.
Very cool. Now, do you try and target a certain group, or, I mean, is it kind of a whoever wants to listen can?
Yeah, I think I've come at it from that angle. I wish I could hone in on one specific group of people. If I did, I would have to say more of like an artist type of thing where, you know, I'd be in a gallery somewhere. I'd love to do that someday. But I think for now, and probably for a number of years, I just want to invite people in and share my story with them. And that's as simple as it gets. I don't really have an agenda as far as that goes. So.
Okay. I mean, that's a good frame of mind to have. I mean, you keep yourself open, and the evolution of sound, if you have different styles that come about, I mean, that's a good frame of mind.
True. It's very true.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break because we need to pay bills around here. We got some sponsors to plug.
Okay.
But we're going to come back shortly. We're going to learn more about you, Derrick Sanderlin, here on Lunchtime Live.
Hi, my name's Derrick Sanderlin, and you are watching Lunchtime Live.
Remember, all groups and artists featured on Lunchtime Live are selected by an independent group of students and staff from Cal State San Bernardino. You're listening to Lunchtime Live. We're back in the studio with Derrick Sanderlin from Riverside. Here's your host, Misha.
All right. Thanks, Matt. That's right. We're having a great time here. I hope you're still having a great time. And, you know, if you just joined us, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. You've missed out, but there's plenty more to come. All right. So we've been getting to know you a little bit. You got some recorded tracks out. You're out there playing some live shows.
Absolutely.
We're trying to figure out who the man is behind the music. So we left off talking about some live shows, and you mentioned that you like doing some benefit work.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have a certain... I mean, we always love to hear at Coyote Radio that artists are giving back to the community. I mean, do you have it's bad to say, do you have a reason for that? I mean, it's good to give back, but I mean, what's so enjoyable about it?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it's mostly because, I don't know, it just seems much, much more important than just going out and playing music. Music is a fantastic thing, and it influences people in so many ways, but I just find that in this culture today, in order to really impact something, you have to give back to the community that you're in. And I've just been going around, and I just recently did a benefit concert for Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, okay.
And they build households for people who have low income and things like that, or they're living in a very unstable environment and things like that. So, and soon I'll be doing some more with 10,000 Villages, nonprofit organization that serves all of the third world countries and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting. I think the reason I got into music is because I really enjoy telling stories. And the only way I can, because I'm not very articulate, but I do it through music. But other people, through nonprofit organizations and different benefit concerts, and just hearing people's live stories and things like that, it's what really, really interests me. And so I just find myself more drawn to places that are going to be giving back to something important and serving people who need it.
Very nice. That's good for you. I'm glad you see it that way.
Absolutely.
I'd be surprised some people don't see it that way. So.
What?
Yeah, unfortunately. No, it's very good. Now, have you had in the short time that you've been playing, I mean, has there been a place, a venue, a show that just has stood out to you and you're like, man, that was great, I wish I could do that again?
Yeah. Not only do I mean, I really love the area that I'm in. Back to the Grind is a extremely crazy beatnik coffee shop. That's a great place. But recently I went out to Seattle and I had a really awesome time. It's basically just like Mecca for all of us musicians. We just love to go up and travel, even if we're just going to go busk. It's just like amazing. You find really, really talented musicians out on the streets and as well on the stage. And everywhere I got to play at an art institute up on Whidbey Island and in the streets as well. Both were just as enjoyable as anything I've played, but more. There's just something so inviting about the place.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. I imagine it makes it a lot easier to play in a place like that that wants you to be there.
Yeah, that's so true.
That contributes to your talent.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, again, we're talking you up, and for good reason. But let's get into our next track. This one's called Catharsis. And again, we'll have a listen to it. We'll get a little story behind it. But this is Catharsis by Derrick Sanderlin here on Lunchtime Live. All right, that was Catharsis by Derrick Sanderlin here on Lunchtime Live. And I don't know, it was a little cathartic, the tone of it and the style. I mean, one of the things that really stands out on that track, I mean, we were talking about it, your vocal range, how you pull off that falsetto so well. And again, the way the technique on your guitar, everything complements each other. It's just, again, you're doing so much with so little, and that's that's what blows our minds around here. So,
thank you.
What's the story with that one? I mean, it's similar, but yet still different.
Yeah, it's pretty different. Just in the style in and of itself. That derived from a lot of different slap guitarists like Andy McKee and things like that.
Yeah.
Antoine Dufour and some really great musicians. But as far as the lyrics go, I would have to say it's based on a little problem I've had for a number of years called depression. And it's just kind of going into the different processes that darkness takes on a person, and just almost a longing for an embrace of some sort. And for me, it's an embrace by God or my family and friends. But for other people, it may be something different, and that's great. But yeah, I really just wanted to get in there that like me, like most other people, I go through depression, and everybody goes through some sort of deep dark sadness, and there are other people out there that are willing to work with you and love you, and I think that's just kind of the longing that I was wanting at the end of the song. So, well,
we're gonna show you off for one last time.
All right.
Even though this will be replayed over and over and over, so you're gonna be kept showing. I can't speak today.
That's all right.
It's a good thing. All right. This one's called Right Around the Bend. Again, we'll listen, we'll talk. You said it's a little different. We'll end on a little more positive note, which we still liked your other stuff. This is Right Around the Bend by Derrick Sanderlin here on Lunchtime Live.
Trust in you.
right. That was Right Around the Bend by Derrick Sanderlin here on Lunchtime Live. And that totally was different. I mean, it was, it wasn't better, it wasn't worse. Well, it definitely wasn't worse. But, I mean, you had that power in there, and it was a little more positive. I mean, what's the story behind that one?
Again, I think it's mostly about redemption, and it was at the very end of the EP that was recorded, Dusk to Dawn, and it was mostly just about hope, love, redemption, anything that is appealing to you, anything that keeps you going for the rest of the day is right around the bend. I think I really came across the meaning of this song when I was biking with my friend back in my hometown in the middle of nowhere. We're biking slowly up an incline about 10 miles, and that was my first time ever biking, like hardcore mountain biking. Yeah. And I was not having it. I was on the verge of tears almost. And,
oh no!
And by the end, it was probably like 3 or 4 miles left, and he's coming up right behind me because he's a pusher. He'll keep you going, and I'm just singing the song in my head, and I'm like, it's right around the bend. It's right around the bend. We're almost there. Yeah. Just keep on going, and I think that's what the song's basis is. Just keep going. It's gonna be fine. You're not gonna die yet. and everything's gonna be right there where you need it. And I think that's basically sums it up.
Very nice. And also a little interesting fact we were talking about, where was this recorded?
So this was actually recorded by my friend Brandon Stool. We recorded in his grandma's house. Nice. He has a bunch of recording stuff, and we couldn't get to his parents' house, so we ended up going to his grandma's house and recording for 7 hours. And
oh wow,
yeah, it wasn't. And apparently that's really short for recording.
Yeah,
and
that's
things
not too
like
bad.
That. So it was really, really great, and it was a lot of fun. Then he took it over to Lunchbox Studios, a local studio in Riverside.
Yeah.
And he had it mastered there. So
right on.
Yeah, again, all of it was free to me, and it was just a great help by Brandon Stool. He's probably busy doing other recordings right now, but thank you, Brandon Stool.
Yeah, if it comes out that
awesome
quality,
guy.
I'm sure he's in demand.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, props to Brandon and his grandma. Right on. All right, in the short amount of time that we have left, where can people find out more about you, listen, or possibly buy your music?
Yes, my music is available on ievibes.com /Derrick Sanderlin. And that's where you can buy it if you'd like to support me. If not, which is, whatever, you can head over to soundcloud.com /Derrick _ among other things. And you'll find tons of different stuff there, demos as well, and really, really old recordings that I did myself with like 15 layered harmonies and things like that. So,
really?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Let's pull that up now. I'm going to go check it out, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you can find me on Facebook, Derrick Sanderlin, Derrick Sanderlin. Don't pick the older guy because that's my dad, and he does not play the music. He might take the credit, but it's mine. So, no. Just kidding. He's a great guy. But that's all the places you can find me for now. I'll probably get up on Reverb Nation and all that cool stuff in the future, but.
Yeah, right on. There's some good stuff on the horizon for you, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, Derrick, thank you so much for coming in. We wish you nothing but the best and all that you're going to attempt to do. And
absolutely.
I mean, do come back and visit.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was fun. This is definitely fun.
Yeah, keep us up to date.
I will.
All right. And with that, I think that's another episode. So I think we're ready to go, Matt. Take us away.
enjoyed Lunchtime Live on your local Time Warner Charter Communication cable channel, remember check us out. Another local bands 24/7 on Coyote Radio. Online, radio.csusb.edu. That's radio.csusb.edu. Be sure to join us next week for Lunchtime Live and let us know about bands you would like to see on future episodes of this program. In the meantime, remember to support the local artists in your neighborhood. For the Academic Computing and Media Department at California State University, San Bernardino, as well as the entire staff here at Coyote Radio, I'm Matthew Shaw. Have a great week.
Over the situation we've created in our heads, and it's branching out like tangled threads, and I said I feel too tired, I'm prone to drive.